This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio. When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats in rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. Oh yeah. What is up, everyone? It's Saturday night, and I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, sitting next to my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hello, everyone.
That song gets me so pumped up as we get ready to go. I dialed it back a little bit because we had an intense week. So I didn't want to rush in, exploding this week too much.
Sure.
So as we begin the show, I'd like to thank Chris and Cherie Gio, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here doing what we're doing today. We love you very much.
We do love you.
And for everybody else, we love you too, and we love everybody in the chat room. Those are our boys in there and our girls. But we want you to sign up at TFR.
Yeah.
Get the app.
Get a subscription.
Check out the shows. I've been getting my and super thank yous to everyone that's subscribing to the YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, guys.
I'm only putting up a third of the shows. I'm a little bit behind. I'm going to put some up. But we're on episode 41.
Really? 41?
Yeah, it's crazy. We're doing it. And we're getting the information out there, and we're making it happen. And this is great. You could even find us, Truth Frequency Radio, on iHeart Radio. It's running 24/7. It's free.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I mean,
I don't think you get to pick the shows though. They just run.
Yeah, they just run.
I was listening to it in the car the other day. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And bear with the app. It takes 30 seconds to load. Sometimes it takes a minute. I noticed that with the incoming energies, there's a lot of disturbances with
technology.
It's been driving me absolutely
nuts.
Yeah,
we had an episode before the show. Everything went down.
This happens.
Yep. Every time.
And I've been doing radio for a long time, and it happens 15 minutes before the show. But lately, though, at technical problems aside, the computer just not working, the mouse not working, the TV remote's not working, and the batteries are checked. I mean, I'm being practical about it, but stuff going down right as you need it.
Yeah.
Maybe your energy is overloading it. Maybe it's the energy in the room, the incoming energy waves. It's driving me nuts in a good way. If you like the music that you hear, check out HeistClick, HeistClick. Just go to YouTube, type it in. And if you want the shows on the YouTube channel, I haven't named it yet, but it looks like I'm going with Frank Castle Fearless. So you could just type that in. Frank Castle Fearless for now. It goes right to me anyway. I checked it.
Okay.
It's going to be cool, man.
It is cool.
I'm so excited. I dialed it back for a reason, because I caught the Godsmack this week, big time.
Yes, you did.
But we'll get to that in a minute. So I want to pick up where we were
Do your disclaimer first,
Yeah,
because you're going to be talking about experiences.
Okay. So here's my disclaimer. This is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone. That is, unless you're ready. Then by all means, proceed. But first, we suggest you finding a reputable shaman that knows what he or she is doing and travel safe in the love and the light. And remember, the universe rewards bravery. Okay, we in the now?
We're in the now. Good.
So last week's show, I felt like we talked about me throwing up often. Bothered me a little bit because I mentioned it so many times. And this isn't about my personal whatevers. But as a shaman, part of what you do is purging.
Yeah.
Right? It's coming out of one side or the other because you cannot hold this stuff in. It comes out of everything.
Well, you could even purge emotionally because
you could
doing
pour
a lot of that
tears.
too, yeah.
You know, you could go out in the street and you could just scream nice and loud, or you could go over and you could grab Squeak by the tail and fling him for eating away at the carpet.
Your cat bad all the time. Every time the show starts, my cat sleeping.
Yeah. So one of the things with the energies and everything that we're going through, we have to ground ourselves because it's getting intense. And it's just not going to stop getting intense. But the purge is a big part of ayahuasca. I'm finding that some people purge during DMT.
And some people purge
just
to purge, which we're going to get into in a minute.
So last week we discussed what had happened. And right after the show.
No. Why don't you just back up and give them
I went to my house.
Yeah, the part that happened first.
And there was a funeral. And everybody had shown up after the funeral. And I was demanding that I had to run in. Like, I had to go to the house. I had already went to the wake. So I was just going to go run over to the house. I didn't know anyone was there. So I get there and I see my mother. And she looks terrible. Everyone's like, you just missed everyone. And I'm like, oh, good. And I run up to her and I grab her. And I do this thing where I crack her back for her. And I just grabbed her and did it. Bang.
Right.
And something jumped from her to me. And then I wanted to leave immediately. And I came back here. I told you what was going on. I said,
right.
I think something came back with me from the house.
And it did.
And you said, I'll run my hands over you. And I said, no, you got to hold on. And this is where it began. I sat next to you and I felt your energy. There was something in me. You said something like, hey, you ready for this?
Yep.
And then boom, you hit me with energy and I was throwing up in moments. Running to go do this.
Yeah, it was right before the show.
All right, so after the show, I did this multiple times. I was on my knees, like freaking out. Like, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. We got to go on air. Something's always breaking. Some kind of technology.
Yeah, something's always going on. But so that happened.
That happened.
You pulled it together, and then we did the show. It was great, a good show. Got a lot of feedback on it. And so before we go any further, and I know you chat room folks know what I'm talking about, and you remember this. Frank has a wand. It's a what kind of stone is that? It's
oh wow, I don't remember the name of it. It's the black.
I think it's a hematite stone, but I'm not sure. And it's a wand. And Frank sneaks up on me every now and then and runs this wand over me. Like when I'm in the kitchen or when I'm cooking or doing something around the house, and expects a demon to come flying out of me. And every time he does it, I laugh and I say, you're never going to get me that way. And he goes, one day I will. And I said, okay, you can keep trying. So the show ends.
And I pull out the wand.
Right. And I suggest to you that you should wand yourself.
Well, I ran up to you and wanded you.
Right.
And then you were like, what are you doing? You need to wand yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right. And I looked right at you. And what did I do? I held the wand up right to you and then went 1, 2 down the side of my arms. And I ran out the front door and was throwing up on the front lawn.
In the lawn. Like a German Shepherd, because he couldn't hold it in.
I don't know why I made it. The bathroom was on the other side. I'm judging it from here. I'm looking,
right.
And I'm
well,
going.
I think the door.
I made it for the front door.
Yep.
Because it was just a little bit closer.
Yep.
And this went on a little bit.
Yeah, it went on for an hour after the show.
And I guess it's important. One of the lessons I learned is that, hey, listen, what you're putting in you, the amount of responsibility you're taking on, stepping into more of a divineness, divine vibration.
You need to clear that energy. And
all the old stuff needs to go. Nothing can be there.
But you used the wand for what it was intended for.
If I never have to use
it exactly the way
again,
you were supposed to use it.
Definitely did its part already.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen? You're going to have to use that again. You know?
Listen, I put it on my forehead, and I was like, "Look, I'm done. I'm done."
And I'm like, "No, you're not."
It hit my forehead, and I couldn't pull it off, and I ran back into the bathroom and was doing it again. As a shaman, any shaman or any person that takes on the energetic responsibility of doing their part, you're going to be pulling and pushing energy around, and those energies are. It's information, and it's attached to a person, and then it attaches to you. You don't want to keep that attached to you in any way.
No, you want to clear it from yourself.
As a shaman, I don't look like if I have to step in on the other side or during an experience, I never see the personal stuff. I always go, I don't want that, because if it shocks me, like to my core, it attaches to you.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go in and see something and you're scared of their construct, or just of what's occurring, and you can't handle it, it'll just, boom, now it's attached to you. Now I got to deal with that. There's a slight personality type that you take on a piece of the person sometimes.
Right.
And it's not always the good parts.
Right.
Sometimes it's a bad habit or something, and you don't want that. It just adds to layers of more of your junk. So the purge is what keeps it out. Chris will tell you, we were talking on Skype once, and he wasn't feeling well, and he just told me a story of attachments from a kid he was working with,
right,
and how they were clearing them, and he couldn't understand how something was working out, and all we stare at when we call him is a picture of his face
on,
right?
on Skype.
On Skype. So I'm just staring at his face.
So I suggested.
Paula says, "Why don't you give him a clearing?" I says, "I can't do it over Skype."
And I said, "Yes, you can.
We do it all day here, right? So she's like, "What's the difference?" So I just looked at the board. I saw his face. I saw his eyes.
You focus on the picture.
And it felt like I came through the computer. I went into the computer, came out the other side, into his chest. I stood in his body. I can actually see. And this all happened in like 4 seconds.
Oh, and he felt it on the other side.
Yeah, he was
As
like, whoa.
This was happening, he felt your presence.
I pulled these circular, these spheres that were in his aura. And these things are what pass around, and they feed on your energy, and they kind of like tag along, right? So you have to clear these things. They get annoying. They clog up areas. They get in the way of your energy flow.
Right.
So I cleared all of it out, jumped back into my body. I was like, hey, look, back into my body. Paul, what did I do? I got up and grabbed the garbage pail and started throwing up right at the computer.
Right.
And he was like, hey, did you just...
Yeah, because you have to purge what you released from him.
Yeah. And when things like that happen, because Cherie was on the line as well, made me feel like, all right, I'm getting the job done.
Yeah.
It's
not easy.
It's not easy being the protection from deception if you're really going to do it.
Not.
We like to have fun. It's a radio show. We talk about the stories and the beings and all that. But the reality of it is you got to stay clean. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay good.
Right. And use discernment.
Discernment should be like right there. Top 1, 2. This is not easy work. This is the one thing I've learned this week again.
No.
Because I walked into it like, I got this. This is no problem. And I caught a left and a right hook.
Yep.
I felt like Mike Tyson dropped me, except I'm smiling. Big smiles.
I see it.
Right? I look like the guy from the Muppets, Mr. Teeth. Ah. All right. So I just, before we get into the story, someone had asked me one of my rituals for the day. Rituals are good. Bad rituals are when you play with demons and stuff, Ouija boards, and you don't know what you're doing. Good rituals are wake up. This is all for your health and designed to just wake up and kickstart your body. And believe me, I need a kick in the morning. It takes me an hour and a half to wake up. Like I'll just walk around kind of ridiculously, and I'll be doing stuff, but completely don't even know what's happening.
No.
But during that time, I feel like that time takes too long. So I wake up, I take a couple of deep breaths, I collect myself. I start thinking, okay, I'm here, I'm back. Look, I'm awake. That was a rough sleep again.
Right.
Because I have rough sleeps at night. I say to myself, let's get this out of the way. I put down breathing 30 times. Now, we just breathe as we walk around. You hear me, I breathe loud. Right? Like a Darth Vader breathes sometimes.
Yeah, but there's something about pulling it in and breathing it out through your mouth that
if you get 3 times, look,
calms you.
Tongue on the top of the roof of your mouth as you're breathing in, and then open your mouth, release it. People do not know how to breathe. I've played sports for years. I was on a swim team for years. I played everything, and everyone had to be taught how to breathe up front.
I agree with you. I hold my breath. There are times when I just stop breathing. I hold my breath. I don't know why I do that.
I hold my breath too.
Yeah.
It's because we naturally, here we need that, but that's the only place you need that.
I guess so.
So what I do is I get up, I immediately look around at who's around me. There's always a cat around. And immediately I start, instead of going, I got to clean the cat litter, got to do this, got to do that. I immediately go, I love this cat. Mm-hmm. That's even if it sounds like this, good morning, man, right? You're getting it. Even if you're going to get the mush, you're getting it right away. My hand's going to be on the cat's head. I love you, buddy.
Yep. You're starting the day
here.
off right. You have a decision to make when you wake up. You can either have a terrible day or you can have a great day, or you can intend to have a great day, but you make the decision when you wake up. And the way you wake up and treat people and beings around you, that's how the day starts.
Absolutely. I was the worst waker-upper ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's all
but
true.
for years, right? So my day would fall apart on me, even though I had these cool things to do and everything. I just couldn't deal with.
If you woke up in a bad mood and you could have a great day planned, it was a bad day. And it wasn't a bad day for you. It was a bad day for everybody.
There are obstacles out there. And we have to just learn how to deal with ourselves in confronting these obstacles. Mm-hmm. Is it really an obstacle? Or is it that you don't have patience? These things are designed specifically as a trap for us in society, and it's us having to go out and dealing with these things.
Right. So you have to change your vibration.
You have to change the way you think, the way you feel about this. Yeah, we know traffic sucks, right?
Yep.
So what do? We send love ahead.
Yeah, send love ahead
of the trip. 2 minutes before we leave, 10 minutes, a day before, whenever. There's no wrong time to do this. While you're breathing, while you're thinking to yourself, I'm on planet Earth. This bugs me out every morning. I say, I'm on planet Earth. Yay. Right. And I try to ground immediately. And it's the center of the Earth. You view the flaming ball. I'm going to say this almost every week because I'll forget sometimes. But flaming ball, center of the planet. Drop an anchor to it. Wrap it around. This new thing happens. Fire comes up the chain now, alerting me you are connected. Yep. Hits me, and immediately my protection goes up.
Because that's your signal that it's working. For someone else, it might be different.
It took months.
Yeah.
Of me doing this, look, guys, all day long, just going, oh, what a day today is. Let me put up protection, Oh, look at this moron in the street. Put up my protection. Hey, look at this guy. Protection. I just went through this nut stage. And then they were like, all right, calm down.
Yep.
And they being my guides, they're like, you're going crazy now. We wanted you to routine it. We know it's going to just start working. And I go, how? They're like, ground. So I ground. Boom, it starts.
Because when you're grounded, it doesn't matter what's coming at you.
And all of this.
Yeah, guy on the street could come at you. The one with the crazy negative energy. When you're vibrating at that frequency, they're not on your frequency. That you're of no significance to them. You're insignificant to them.
Right.
They don't even see you.
You can see a fighter ground himself live, like watching a UFC fight or a boxer.
Right.
They come out and the other guy starts bugging out. He's huffing and puffing and screaming and dancing around the ring or the cage. And the other guy looks like he just got out of bed. Right. And he's standing there just calm as can be. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. He might even give that guy a high five.
Right.
And then it's on. All that energy from the other guy, the bouncing, the screaming, I'll kill you, I'm going to get you, does nothing to that other guy. Nothing.
No, because when you're grounded, it doesn't matter. You can have
The force of everything could come at you. You're a creator.
and nothing is going to make contact with you.
Yeah, nothing.
Because, it's not the same frequency.
Think of it as your aura is a force field, and it will repel stuff. It's just the way it works. We've seen this done. We've seen momentum shift as people's attitude shift. They can't hold the grounding in.
Right.
We watch this quite often on TV with game shows and athletes and all that. You can pick it up in that. All right, what I like to do, begin my mantras. My mantras are so simple. I'm the light. I am the light. I just came from the light.
It's me.
It's me, the light, right? That's so simple. I look in the mirror, and we all look the way we look first thing in the morning. And I look myself straight in the face, and I always go, right? Even when I'm angry, I'll make the angry face in the mirror, and then I'll go, ooh, so scary, right? Like, ooh. And I try to psych myself out of that stuff. And then just go, hey, man, I love you. It doesn't really matter. I know you're angry right now. The whole world just sucks. And I want to punch you in the face. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I want to punch you in the face, but I love you. The love piece has to be in there because everything else is just falling away. But that love grabs you in the mirror and attaches you to a good thing immediately. You should love thyself, know thyself. This is important stuff. Mantras also, I love Shiva. Around here, Shiva is just rolling constantly. I don't know. I've discussed it before, but something in the music that when they do the mantras that come from like India.
It's entrancing.
I never thought I'd like any of those sounds. Prior to me waking up, I didn't like anything other than like rock music and a little bit of hip hop, you know?
Right.
A couple other things, but I was very limited. Now I hear the sounds and I understand them. It's just when you travel, you hear sounds and tones on the other side. Mm-hmm. You see buildings on the other side. You see designs on the other side. Then you come back here and you see mosques and designs of buildings and painted walls. And you go, oh, they're pulling this stuff right out. They're painting and designing it all. Don't forget to stretch. This is a new thing. I'm injured up and down, and I stretch now. Like you've seen me doing it. I did it all through the ceremonies this week. I would just get up, stretch. Here's what I wanted to tell you guys. The weather's been beautiful. Like, it's been insane. Right now it's raining, but the last couple of days it's been good. Find a little
here in New York.
Here in New York. Find a patch of grass or something. You don't need grass, but you go outside and ground yourself out there in the sun. Look up to the sun. The sun's alive, and it's sending you messages, and it's not like secret messages. It's information in light, because light is information. So the ones and zeros are traveling through the light that you're looking up at. When you're wearing sunglasses, hats, this, that, it blocks that stuff on purpose.
Right.
I've noticed that the materials, like in the sunglasses specifically, keep out information in the light. Yes, you need them when you're doing stuff as a tool.
Of course.
But if you're wearing them 24 hours a day,
right,
you're getting nothing. Your eyes need to absorb that. It's where we take it in, you know? It's really good to do this out there if you can, is what I'm getting at. I had an excellent moment outside. I kept having to go out, like constantly go outside. And I was going, what is going on? I'd look up, the sun was hitting me in the face, and it was just like information was pouring into my head.
Yeah, so it's calling you out for that.
Because we don't do it enough. These are the things. What things we don't do enough? We don't look up at the sky enough.
No,
right?
We don't look up at the sky enough. We took a walk last night, and we actually looked up at the sky. It was beautiful.
It's ridiculous. And you get to the feeling of your, like a humbleness and a wow, I'm on a spaceship. Like we're flying through space and time. And it's an illusion. That's another great one too. So sometimes I come right to the computer. You'll see me put up now accepting positive vibes, now sending positive vibes. This is all part of this little process that I do. I wish everybody a happy birthday. This is an OCD I have. I wish everybody a happy birthday. So if it says it's your birthday, you're going to hear from me. I kind of have to, or my day can't start. But this is, once again, me training myself to take control of myself and my path. A lot of the times when you think you're just sitting there thinking while you're doing stuff, it's not you. When you control you, you know. There's a big, big difference, guys.
Yeah, because a lot of the thoughts that we have aren't actually our thoughts. They're outside thoughts coming in. They're not ours.
And I noticed that through angry bursts that just explode like, oh, you know what? F this person, choke that person, kick that thing. I hate you. And I'm like, who's saying that?
Yeah.
I don't actually talk like that. Like, you sound like an angry me that's not me anymore. But I would never notice that if I didn't take control of myself. Set your intentions for the day and ask that you stay in the receiving frequency. One of the things that works out really well that I say, the forces that work with me, my allies, bring me even greater clarity of mind and peace in my heart. That's all. That's it. It's so simple. I was talking to someone and they were shown that it's all love. Yeah. And their response was, it can't be this simple. It can't be.
But it is.
And
it really,
she looks
really
right at him
is.
and goes, no, it is. It is the easiest thing.
But you and I
we're
had
so
that,
far from it.
Yeah, you and I had that argument like a year ago. You're like, no, it's not that simple. And I'm like, yes, it is. Just try it. Just try it. Try it once on something small, something that you know you can manifest, some small thing. And then you did it and you tweaked something.
And bang, it happens.
Yeah, and then it happened.
You got to do little before you can do big. Don't try to change the TV with your mind. Try to just fix yourself. And when you're fixed, you'll be moving whatever you need.
Or just pick up the remotely.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain.
Oh, man. Every time I hear that track, I go, check out Frank Castle on iTunes, Amazon. You can listen to the song on YouTube. I only have 2 songs under Frank Castle. Everything else is under Heist Click. Just letting you know. You'll see why if you go check it out. Now I'm going to get back into the storyline. This is so important. What I did this, I have this thing about team, the team,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've said this before. We're them. They're us. When I say they, I mean those beings that we encounter on the other side, and I specifically mean my team, my crew. And those of you that speak to them as well, you're also my crew.
Right.
I mean, we're all connected.
We're all connected.
There's something going on.
Oh, yeah.
And as above, so below. The old pantheon of, we'll call them Egyptian deities for now. That's how it's easier to know them. It's like we're forming a crew. Very similar. Your smile, that smile on your face just went like,
It's the island of the misfit toys over here. I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, we all do a lot of self-help. Like, we've been checking ourselves so we don't wreck ourselves. And this is difficult work. So, with the help of the plant medicine, ayahuasca, we're able to jump the journey 400 years at a pop. We're actually speeding up, since everyone's actually speeding up the process right now. of leveling up and moving into the new earth, we'll call it. We are accelerating our process ahead of everyone because our purpose is a little bit different. Our purpose is to anchor in, ground this energy, and show you guys what's going on. So when it hits the fan, and it will, whether in a good way or a bad way, we're going to be there, and we're going to be directing traffic.
That's a good way to put it.
We're not the end-all, be-all. None of us are the magic superpower within itself, by itself.
Right.
We work all together because we need each other.
Right.
All of us. Everyone building the grid, light workers, the warriors. Everyone's got their own purpose. But this wave is going to anchor it in to make it okay for the next wave.
Yes.
The kids are waking up right now, and they're awake. On a scale of 1 to 10, their wokeness is 25. So you have to give them this freedom for their thought, for their fantasy, for their, like how they're going to be, their mind's going to be built.
Right.
You got to allow them to just build the Lego that they want. Doesn't matter. Be creative.
Yeah, don't stifle the creativity.
Ever.
Frank was fortunate enough to grow up in a home where his mother never stifled creativity, never told him he couldn't think that or dream that or be that. She supported the love of comic books and superheroes, and
she even wrote her own stories for me to read.
Yeah, and for me it was the exact opposite of that. So this is hard for a lot of people because for many of us, this is the first time we're actually allowing ourselves to use that creativity or to be creative.
At least without feeling, and I still get it, but as a performer on stage, mm-hmm. I let go of a lot of what do they think of me in public? Like, I really don't care what you think of me.
But you can't.
I cannot.
Yeah.
As a hip hop artist, like I just give love, and I'm like, yeah, but if you're like, yo, this guy sucks constantly, I can't fight every one of those people because they think I suck.
Because it's their opinion.
It's their opinion.
It's their opinion.
And I'm just gonna be me. Do you think I'm soft because I'm nice? Do you think the message is coming through weird because Frank don't like to get down and hang out with the dudes and smoking weed in the street? I don't know. I don't know what it means anymore. When I was growing up, there was all these cool things and all this stuff. And I got older and I said, none of this is real.
But
it's not real. It's just my purpose is a little stronger. So I come off like, well, this whole thing that's happening spiritually, and then we got to level up, and ayahuasca and DMT is going to help you. You got to go live your lives as well. Go have fun. But this is going to occur and it's going to level up, and we don't walk through the fire anymore. So for a lot of us that are depressed and angry and upset, we're missing something. There's a lot of sick people. We live in a sick society, and the shaman goes and heals himself from the sickness and steps out there and goes, look how lonely it is out here.
Right.
How scared I am because I can't talk to nobody. Nobody will believe me. They'll hang me we're lucky. We're in the time where we're at. You're lucky because what I did in this last couple of weeks here, my training would have been off with your heads. This conversation that we're going to have over the next couple of episodes and the people I bring onto the show, they would have hung us and chopped us into pieces and fed us to something for even thinking like this. And guess what?
That's scary.
It's the truth frequency.
But it is.
You want the information. What are you going to do to get it?
Yeah, you have to go and get it.
Right? Now, you can go get the information by force, right? But you'll only get what you get by force. By force, it's external.
Right.
What information do you know? Give it to me now.
Right.
I'm going to take it from you.
Right.
Or you walk through the fire in yourself, in your soul, and it's you already got the information. It's there. It's yours to take. It's your birthright as a creator. And for all those that are not creatives that are listening, we love you too. I'm just throwing that out there. There's some people just don't know, man. And some of you are just not us. one of the things I've learned is I'm not us, but I am part of the whole. Not from here.
No. Not
Learning
from
you're
here.
not from here is interesting. Just because you ran a whole bunch of cycles, and yes, technically you are human because you're in the avatar now. Time for others is way different. We say this often, that the Anunnaki time is like 75 years, or what is it?
50 years, I think, for one day. 50 years to a day, human day.
So technically, we could have been gone a couple of months, lived a whole bunch of lifetimes.
Right.
It's like we were injected from the future. Something didn't work, and we came back. Right. But what the wall that we hit in the future was that we left us behind. You can't just leave your creations behind. You can't just take the consciousness and abandon it.
No.
Right? Well, they did that. That was the plan. Abandonment. Furthest from source.
Right.
Here's the game. None of you know who you are. And then you wake up. Here you go. Peekaboo.
Yeah. It's isolation and loneliness first. Then you have to break through that.
There's so many levels to this that I walked in to this team effort. We got the team. I walked in like, we got this, smiling. And even people like us are completely unprepared. So unprepared that when the other side tells you, no, you're not ready, after seeing, you hear what I go through here. You hear, I tell you the stories. Every once in a while, I bring someone in. It's completely out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
Just finding this out. And then to go and ask for some of the simplest stuff that you think you're totally ready for. And they're like, you think you're ready for that? Take a look at this.
Right.
And you see yourself again. And there's work that needs to be done. And you say, how much work could I be done? And they're like, listen, you don't have to spend weeks on this, meditating in a corner.
Right.
You have to just
intend it.
And then for the power, you have the responsibility. If at any time your responsibility weakens, you're going to get smacked. It's like, when you're in the older classes in school, you're expected to, be more responsible. You've been doing this for a while now.
Right.
You have underclassmates that look to you.
Right.
If you're on a football team or a sports team and you're a senior and there's freshmen on, they expect you to act a certain way because these kids are looking up to you.
Right.
They're coming on and, oh, he's the leader. Well, if you're acting up and drinking
thing.
and smoking every night and you're throwing punches at girls and breaking car windows, you're not doing it. But if you're out there just, sharing love, having fun, doing what feels good in your heart, and then you're on planet Earth, man. There's trials and tribulations out there. You got to go through them, right? But your connections have to start becoming strong now. Like the ones that listen to the show, when you hear my voice, and the ones that speak to me and hit me up constantly know we're connected now.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell you guys, I love you, right? Don't I always say it? I'm still a manly man. We make jokes, a bunch of us, like, oh, in any other situation, this would be kind of awkward, but I love you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Paula, who just screams, I love you constantly?
I do. And you do now. Mm-hmm.
Who else? We're going to do a shout out right now.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh. I feel very loved by Josh. And Jody. Thank you for understanding.
People are just freely saying it now.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know that this is important. You should do it. Hey, I love you, man. Right? You don't have to add any attachment to it.
No.
Hey, man, I love you, man. That's cool. Hey, love you. See you later.
Because you're spell casting the word love.
I tell my brother I love him, and he goes, oh, yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, man, that's great. Thanks. But he does. But he's worried that it's going to soften him as a human being by saying he loves me. But love is strength. You have to be strong for me to share that with you. And it ain't that kind of love. You know what I'm saying, guys? Because I know that I could hear the jokes just flying because I make those jokes. Right? But you're respected. You're expected to have a certain level of responsibility with this stuff once you know it.
Yeah.
And you start doing it. Josh.
I love you, Josh.
Once you start working this, you're expected to work it at that level. and you're not to be stagnant. And once you start this journey, it's not like a 1-step, 2-step. You could take little tiny steps here and there.
Yeah, it's like exercise for your mind.
But you can't stop.
Right.
When you stop, you take damage when you stop.
Yes.
You're walking through energy that's bombarding you, and we're not even at the part where you understand how to deal with this energy yet. We didn't even get to that stuff.
But your physical body takes the hit for it.
And we get sick. You hold in bad thoughts and crappy thoughts, and you get cancerous tumors, and things occur, and you eat certain things, and you treat your mind starts to kind of wiggle to the other side, and all of a sudden you become this self-hating, perpetuating, ridiculous, I can't go out and be seen in public unless it's exactly like this. Everyone's looking at me. Like, sometimes it just doesn't matter. Nobody cares what you're doing. Just think about yourself. I'm okay.
Yeah, no
I'm
one will
okay.
care
No
if you don't care. It's when you
stop bringing it. Stop
you
bringing the fear.
you bring it into yourself.
Stop manifesting that crap, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
That keeps you down. I'm teaching you how to train yourself. I'm a ridiculous dude, and how to train myself like a child, like with flip cards and stuff.
No, it wasn't that bad. It happened quicker than that.
What do we got right in front of me?
Well, no, you have your notes. Well, you're a professional, and you have notes there.
Okay. I understand. As adults, they're professional notes, but they're flip cards that keep me reminded, all the notes of what's going on.
Of course, because it has to be documented.
Right, but
somewhere.
I can't just say I know it in my mind and then not live it. And then
Right,
when I
because
go
you
to
wanna
live it, now I have 10 flip cards that I could have been going through, or 10 note pages.
Right, you're right. Because
that just keep me, morning rituals. What do I do to get back on track again?
Well, right, because you want to make sure you're getting into a positive routine, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But I'm forcing it by
you are.
doing it this way. And I've been listening to a lot of reggae lately. I put on these things called the stoner mixes. Listen,
it's really good.
The music is great, and it's all, pot smoking, talk, and everything, but love, lots of love.
Yeah, you feel the love. You feel the vibration.
Man.
You feel the vibration.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. I have 3 of them posted. They're like 2 hours a piece.
Yeah, it's almost like when you I lost it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Look, now it's time to start keeping those connections strong and thriving with one another off of this little momentum push of the word love.
Right.
Okay. So I put a team together of my friends that are actually seeing and talking to the beings.
It's the not a team.
All right. So
I'm only kidding.
No. We have the best team ever.
No, I know.
Everyone involved in my life, including the people I speak to out there and everyone connected. I love it. We have such an interesting mix
of people. Yeah.
Okay, so we're pretty excited. It takes a few days to get the brew right and everything going. It's a song and a dance when I'm doing this stuff, because if you do it in a bad attitude, like I gotta rush this stuff, I gotta get this done because everyone's coming here. Like, people are like that. Your brew comes out bad.
Yeah, and you experience that happened to you
many times. Right. Like, it's not even funny. So you have to keep that in mind. So we had a good brew, good things going, but we hadn't been in a while. So,
yeah, but it was good vibes. It was good vibes when you were making it. Good vibes in the house.
We had questions like, this is going to be from my perspective. I'm going to eventually get the other two in here to tell it from their perspective.
Sure.
But things that what I was asking about was, I wanted to bring into our third eye conscious bubble in your head awareness. The movie screen in your head expands when you drink ayahuasca or you smoke DMT. It expands. So if you're allowed to sit in your body, you could ask, may I stay in my body? Please don't take me out of my body. You say it a couple of times. They come out and go, why? Why do you want to stay in your body? And I said, the reason why I want to stay in, because from everything that I've heard about, because I go out of my body every night, right? Visiting all that stuff is great, but my job here is to anchor it here. Right. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
I'm like a meathead sometimes. You guys got to let me stay in my vehicle and anchor it in and become the character. And they go, you got it, every time, because they understand what you're trying to accomplish. Is that your purpose? Yes, that is my purpose. Then you can do it.
Because the purpose was not driven by fear. That's why they let you do it. Because you were not picking that because you were afraid of the other option.
Right, right.
And they knew that.
And look, the fantasy is great. I've met the great dragons and all that. I'm sure there's a billion more things
Right.
infinitely in fractals they can show me
Of course.
infinitely, and I'll never get to all of it. But we're not here for that. We are here in the now for a reason. Why else do you think you're on planet Earth? I really want to hear why you think you're here. Do you even know what's going on? Well, if you're listening to the show, you definitely know. So one of my things was I want to bring my friends in the room, my allies, our allies, collectively. It was mistaken, and I thought the people around me was saying, I want to bring aliens into the room, like an ETs into the physical room with us. And all right, here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. And because I got punched right in my jaw for asking this question the wrong way. I meant in my awareness having like a council area where our consciousnesses are up there.
Could meet
In like our own private area.
Right.
We could just sit across from each other and say, hey, we're doing it, man. Good job. Or how can we help? Or how can I help you? Or how can I help myself do a better job? And whatever. Because if you're here, that means when you're under ayahuasca, everything's pretty important.
Right.
Every single moment. DMT, you kind of float out there sometimes. This is super uber specific. So I said, can we do that? And they said, that's what you want to do? That's what you want to do? You want to bring them into the room with you? And I said, no, I don't want to bring them in the room with me. I want to have like the conference. And they were like, if you bring any of these things into the room with you, like physically in the room with you, and they're not exactly your friends.
Right.
You guys are in so much trouble.
Right.
Because physically and spiritually, you can't handle it. You'll have heart attacks. You'll just die if they walk in the room. Like I had the incident with Ra. He came through the portal and I said, oh, it's Ra. Oh, and then my heart just almost gave out. The glory of just looking.
And then he had to pull it back.
He said, no, I'm not coming out. Oh, no. He goes, you physically can't handle it. He goes, you make fun of the jokes, the fainting goats. You're going to die if I come out. Your avatar can't handle it. But you know why I can't handle it? One, because of the experience itself.
Right.
But you haven't done anything to build up to an experience like that.
No.
You have no small reference to a big reference.
Right.
Nothing. And I'm like, well, I saw a ghost once, and he laughed. He was like, that was your grandfather. It's not a ghost. I was like, oh. Right. You see how quickly that changes right there. So I started to see the room change. And all right, before I get to that, my purge that time came in 6 seconds of my first sip. I have the record of the fastest purge, I think. It hit my tongue, and I went, and went to sip, a little sip. Boom, hit it again. Spewing. Then instantly after that, just sat down, and the room was beginning to change. And I saw the aliens.
That was really quick.
It worked.
Yeah.
Well, we had been fasting a little. We've been doing it a little bit right. We had been using smoothies every day. So my body was doing something different. You know, I'm not having problems breathing or nothing.
Right.
So I used to, you know, what's happening? Oh, right. Like you can't do that. Right. So then it's like, and you're trying to gain control. I did this in front of Chris my first time because I didn't know what to do. So all I can do is breathe. So I was going in the nose, out the mouth. And for like a minute, I was going, they thought I was having a seizure. And I was staring at them going, okay, now I got control back.
Right.
After like a minute, my control came back. I was like, whoa. All right. So there was on my left, it looked like something that launches fireworks into the sky, like one of those big barrels.
Oh, Roman candles?
Like a big one. And it was about to launch something, and one of those gray aliens just went boop, and he came up. And I seen his head. He had the long gray face with the eyes. But I started to slowly move upward like I was in a glass elevator in like the mall. right? You're going up just a floor,
Right.
and it's kind of going slow, but you can see everything that's going on. And I said, oh, look. And I knew instantly this was not a good guy. This was exactly what they were talking about. Look, that's one that's peeking in, that's being a pain in the ass. And if you contact with him and then you feel it and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to him.
Whoa.
So they just went, nope, turn me to the right. I turn to the right. I see a mantis. I'm like, ooh, mantis. And then I see that it's eating something. And they went, nope, and pulled me away again. And I said, all right, look, what's going on here? Like, am I going to be allowed to do anything? Because I got a lot of questions here today. And I need information on the eclipse. I'm just going to spew it out a little bit. I want information on the eclipse.
He gave them a list.
I want telepathy. And I know those are the aliens. We just had the alien conversation. You can't bring the wrong ones in the room, blah, blah, blah. Right, and they were like, what? And I go, hey, listen, I got this. Like, I can do it. And I guess the glass elevator went to the top, right? The background goes pitch black, and I see it looks like outer space. Like, I see the stars come out now, and I'm like, oh, I'm floating in space, and I'm like, oh, I almost let it out, right? I'm like, oh man, what's going on? And then a spaceship starts descending right in my left-hand view. The whole field of view. It was the whole field. It was gigantic. It was moving. I can't explain this, except I'm going to try. Not Transformers like the guys on the cartoons or the movie. It didn't look like that. It looked like the metal, not being liquid. It looked like metal, like attached pieces, the way you'd build a spaceship. And it was lights all over it, and it was alive. It was moving. And it was changing its shape, and the lights were just popping up in where they needed to go in the new shape, and arms would grow out of it. And it was like it reminded me of the one from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the freaky one at the end that landed. They kind of reminded me something of that, but it was metal, and you can see it like, wow, this is an advanced technological civilization. And oh snap, they're right in front of me. Now I'm just floating there, but this thing is like my movie screen. The whole left side was filled with just the spaceship. So I was having a hard time like understanding what was happening. Like, where am I in regards to this? Because I couldn't look down. It was just taking up my whole field of vision. And I noticed that I was right next to it. It came like right up on me. And sitting there, I was going, oh no. This is an AI experience again. And, all right, I'm known to throw fits. Like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Now, I didn't meet anyone or do anything yet, and I start going, what are you doing? I don't think this is a good idea. Blah, blah, blah. So this machine that has spider legs, it's metal. It had one red eye that there was a neck that came off this thing. It was like a box head with one red eye on it. And it was transforming. It had 6 legs. It had 4 legs, 6 legs, 4 legs. And it was just moving towards me. And I'm like, oh, this thing's moving towards me.
Scary.
Are you serious?
I know. I can't believe it.
Well, this is a multi-part show. Guys, I'm so sorry. Well, stick around for Beyond the Veil. They're up next. I promise to get more with the story next week. And I'm going to start bringing in some guests. So we're your protection from deception. And stay fearless, team. And we love you.